Are you able to draw the waveforms for a half wave converter, full wave converter, midpoint type, or a bridge type converters? Is there any doubt related to the waveforms? Okay. So in the morning session, we considered related to the effect of source impedance, isn't it? So the source impedance is going to be having two effects. One is by the source resistance. One effect is going to be by the source resistance, and the other effect is going to be the source inductance. Okay. So out of these two, the source resistance is not going to have any much effect over the converter performance or operation, but the major effect is going to be with the inductance, isn't it? So what is the what will happen when you are going to consider the inductance? Whenever the inductance is going to be considered, then ultimately you are going to have the cross overlap. You are going to have a overlap angle. Due to this particular overlap angle, what it is going to be happen means all the devices are going to be in the conduction. So when all the devices are going to be in the conduction, the to that particular overlap angle, the source is going to be short circuited. So ultimately you are going to have a mm, zero voltage across the load. As the zero voltage is going to be, as the zero voltage is prevailing across the load, ultimately whenever the source inductance is going to be considered, then the mean output voltage of the converter is going to be reduced. Okay, so mean output voltage, average output voltage is going to be reduced, current waveforms are going to be distorting. Okay, and whenever you are going to consider the other, that is when performance parameters of the converter are going to be distorted due to this inductance value, source inductance value. Up to now, previously what we considered are going to be under ideal conditions. What are the ideal conditions what we considered earlier for the converter operation? First one, the source is going to be of an ideal source. There is no impedance provided in the source part. Okay, then second one, the switches what you are going to consider are going to be the ideal switches. So there is no voltage drop provided across the switches. Okay, third one, the current is going to be transferring instantaneously from outgoing pair to the incoming pair without any lag. Okay, that is what we considered in the case of a converter. All the converter operations are going to be considered, and all the waveforms are represented on that base, on those three considerations. But under practical condition, this is not going to be prevailing, as uh, as whenever you are going to consider a practical source may have impedance, that impedance is going to have an inductance part, that inductance is going to affect the operation. You are going to have a overlap or cross conduction. This is considered to be as a overlap or cross conduction. Okay, due to this, ultimately what it is going to be happen means you are going to have a short circuit of the source. This particular angle here is going to be the overlap angle mu. Okay, alpha firing angle, mu overlap angle. In the overlap angle, the current is going to be gradually increasing for the incoming devices and gradually reducing for the outgoing devices. Okay, this is in the case of a uh, source inductance. Okay, so this can be considered in the case of a three-phase waveform provided for a three-phase full wave converter provided for this. Okay, so here whenever you are going to consider this particular cross conduction is going to be predominant, it is going to be in the case of an RL load. It is going to be in the case of an RL load. But whenever you are going to consider for an R load, this cross conduction is not going to be prevailing in the operation. Okay, is it clear? The cross conduction is going to be prevailing. Overlap angle is going to be visible in the operation whenever you are going to consider for an RL load. But for R load, this cross conduction will never prevail. Why? Because the cross conduction will never be prevail means there is no zero conduction, there is no reverse voltage in the R load. So what will happen at this particular instant? The device is going to be turned off. Okay, again the device is going to be provided with a triggering here. So the voltage waveform starts here and ends here. So what will happen? There is a zero band. At this zero band, there will be no current passing through the passing from the source to the load. Okay, is it clear with this? Okay, so then what we need to consider, the other is going to be the performance parameters. We need to consider the performance parameters of the converters. So whenever you are going to consider these performance parameters of the converter, as the though we are going to consider the input provided with a sinusoidal waveform, though it is going to be provided with a sinusoidal waveform, the current which is going to be drawn by the converter is not going to be a sinusoidal. The current which is drawn by the converter is not going to be a sinusoidal. So here this particular waveform what is displayed is going to represent is the screen visible? Okay, is this visible? Waveform is visible. So here in this case what it is going to be done means this is represents the fundamental this represents the supply voltage waveform. Okay, whenever you are going to consider the current waveform, the current waveform is going to be drawn to be of the square wave, which is going to be represented like this, as the current drawn is going to be completely dependent on the switching instant. So whenever the switch is going to be turned on, then immediately the current is going to be drawn, so its value reaches to the peak. So that peak current value is going to be drawn continuously until the switch is going to be in the on state. After that, when the switch is going to be in the off state, then again it is going to be in the reverse. It is going to be becoming zero. So similarly for the negative half cycle. So the input current waveform drawn from the source by any phase control converter is similar to this square wave. Okay, and whenever you are going to consider this, the fundamental component of the current can be represented to be like this. This is going to be the fundamental component of the current waveform provided. Okay, so the difference between these input current waveform and the difference between the fundamental component input current waveform and the fundamental current is going to be nothing but the displacement angle. Due to this displacement angle, due to this, in general, the converter is going to be provided with harmonic components, distortions, everything. So whenever we need to consider a converter, then ultimately what we need to do means we need to find out the performance analysis for any of the converter. It may be a half wave converter or it may be a full wave converter. So for that, what we are going to consider here is what we need to consider is we need to consider one second. So we need to consider the performance analysis for the converter. So whenever we need to consider the performance analysis for the converter, so simply it is going to be nothing but you are going to have the sinusoidal waveform, which is going to be the voltage waveform. You are going to have the input current waveform, the current which is drawn by the converter, and you are going to have the fundamental current component of the current, isn't it? So whenever you are going to consider this is going to be nothing but it is going to uh, form a complex, that is due to the presence of harmonics, distortions. All these particular voltage and current waveforms are going to be nothing but they are going to be somewhat complex forms. So whenever you need to find out the analysis for these complex waveforms, what we are going to do means we are simply going to consider these Fourier analysis for this particular waveforms. Okay, so the full wave converter input and output waveforms are going to be the complex, while deriving this, it is considered to be the current is considered to be of a continuous during the derivation. So this simply this represents the instantaneous input current waveform equation. So I of t is going to be the instantaneous equation, which is going to have that a naught plus sigma n is equal to 1 to n infinity a n cos omega t plus b n sin n omega t. This represents the, for the converter, for any converter it represents the instantaneous current provided. From this analysis, from this converter analysis, what we are going to find out means we need to find out the solutions for this I of t. From this we are going to get the other performance parameters like distortion factor, harmonic factor, like that. So from this equation, this is going to be the preliminary equation. From this preliminary equation, a naught is going to be represented to be as 1 by 2 pi 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi I of t d omega t. Okay, so whenever you are going to consider that, that is going to be in the fundamental equation for the Fourier. Okay, from this what you are going to get means you are going to get you are going to have the formulas for an, which can be evaluated here, and you are going to have the bn, which can be evaluated and substituted here. Okay, so whenever it is going to be done, you are going to get an to be 0 for even numbers, and an is going to be this value for odd numbers. Okay, so an, you can find out this an here. You are going to get this bn here, that is going to be 4 I naught into n pi cos n alpha for odd numbers and 0 for these even numbers. Okay, so once whenever it is going to be done, cn is going to be find out, then you are going to get the fundamental component, that is going to be you are going to get the current, supply current I of t instantaneous value, which is going to be of this. Okay, so from this you are going to find out the RMS value of supply input current, fundamental component of the current. Okay, once this is going to be known, then you are going to find out the parameters. Okay, so this particular complete analysis, this Fourier analysis and solving is not necessary. Just as of your point, your syllabus point of view, you need to know the parameters. You need to know these parameters, all parameters. What are these parameters, and what are the formulas of these parameters? That is sufficient. There is nothing needed related to the analysis for this. Okay, so what we are going to do means we are going to find out the RMS value of the nth harmonic current, RMS value of the fundamental current. Okay, and you are going to get the RMS value of the total input current. Okay, once these are going to be known, then you can find out the parameters. So whenever you are going to find out the performance parameters, the first performance parameter is going to be the displacement factor. Displacement factor is going to be the cosine of the angle between the displacement provided between the supply current and the fundamental current. So it is going to be the cosine of the angle provided between the supply current and the input current. So its value is going to be, it is represented as cos theta 1, which is going to be cos of minus alpha, so cos alpha. So whenever in a question, if alpha is defined, the cos of that value is going to define the displacement factor. Coming to the other, that is going to be the current distortion factor. So the current distortion factor is going to be nothing but fundamental component divided by the supply input supply current component. Fundamental component divided by the input supply component, which is going to be nothing but, what is the fundamental component you are going to get here? That is going to be 2 root 2 into I naught by pi, isn't it? This is going to be the fundamental component, and you are going to have the total input component, which is going to be nothing but equal to I naught. So this 2 root 2 I naught by pi into 1 by I naught. So you are going to get the current distortion factor, which is going to be equal to 2 root 2 by pi, 2 root 2 by pi, which is going to be this value. Okay, so then power factor, it is going to be nothing but CDF into DF, that is going to be current distortion factor multiplied by the displacement factor. 2 root 2 by pi is going to be the value of current distortion factor multiplied by the displacement factor cos alpha. So 2 root 2 by pi into cos alpha. Okay, similarly harmonic factor, this is going to be defined to be as 1 by distortion factor minus 1 under root. Okay, so please copy these formulas. Hardly you are going to have around 8 components, 8 factors that are going to define the performance of a phase control converter. Okay, so the first one is displacement factor, second one is going to be the current distortion factor, third one is going to be the power factor. Power factor is going to be nothing but the multiplication of these two, that is going to be the displacement factor and the current distortion factor, which is going to be 2 root 2 by into 2 root 2 by pi cos alpha. Okay, then harmonic factor, it is going to be 1 by this current distortion factor square minus 1 under root. It is going to be nothing but called as a total harmonic distortion, THD, which you are familiar when you are evaluating the performance of a converter, diode converter in the earlier subjects. Okay, so 1 by CDF square minus 1 under root, that is going to give the total distortion factor, THD, or harmonic factor. Then you are going to have the ripple factor, that is V naught RMS divided by V naught square minus 1 under root. This is going to give the ripple content provided in the case of output voltage. Okay, so voltage ripple factor is equal to V naught RMS divided by V naught whole square minus 1 under root. This is going to give the ripple factor. And active power input, that is going to be the supply volt input supply voltage multiplied by the fundamental component into cos theta 1. So cos theta 1 is going to be the displacement, angle displacement provided between the fundamental and the supply currents. Okay, so this is going to be the active power. And coming to the other, that is going to be the reactive input power. The reactive input power is going to be Vs into Is sin alpha. So you are going to get V naught I naught into tan alpha. So here what is known for us and what we need to find out here. So you may provide a question related to these performance parameters, that that a converter is going to be connected to a load. A converter is connected to a load. Okay, so the input voltage of the converter having a maximum value Vm is equal to 200 volts. So kindly find the performance parameters of the converter provided for firing angle of 30 degrees and firing angle of 90 degrees. So whenever you are going to consider that, there you are going to get this alpha value, you are going to get this alpha value, and you are going to give the Vm value. Okay, so once these are going to be known, what you need to do means you need to find out this fundamental component of the current. Okay, and maybe the load current is also going to be defined, and the input current is also going to be known. So whenever the input current value is going to be known, fundamental component is, you can find out the fundamental component. Once these two are going to be known, then you can evaluate all these, isn't it? So output voltage. So how you are going to find out this ripple factor? The ripple factor can be obtained from voltage ripple factor, that can be obtained by finding this V naught. V naught, as you know, that it is going to have the standard equation, V naught is equal to 1 by periodicity integral A to B Vm sin omega t. From that you are going to get this V naught. Similarly, you are going to have the generalized formula for the V naught RMS. So you can find out the V naught RMS value for all the converters from the formula. Once these are going to be known, you can find out the ripple factor provided, VRF. Okay, voltage ripple factor, and you can find out this this input power factor, as well as you can find out this reactive power factor. Okay, this will be, all these 8 are going to be the performance parameters provided for a full wave converter. These are going to be the formulas provided for a full wave converter. Okay, so these are also going to be considered for a single phase semi converter. Okay, whenever you are going to consider these semi converter, so all are going to be the same. All the converters are going to be having the same 8 performance parameters. Okay, so once I will provide these to you, once you simply going to go download it and check this for the formulas, and you need to remember these formulas while doing the problems. Okay, the previous analysis of all these is not necessary. Just you can simply remember the voltage equations, current equations, power factor, and everything like that. Okay, for a half semi converter, what will happen? For a full converter, what will happen? What are the formulas? Okay, so that is needed. So then uh, you can consider that here. One second. Okay, so here is going to be the comparison of the performance parameters, which you can identify here. So whenever you are going to consider this for a semi converter and a fully converter, for a semi converter and a fully converter, you are going to have the comparison in which you can easily remember these. Okay, so the first one is going to be the average load voltage V naught. This is going to be 2 Vm by pi 2 Vm by pi into cos alpha for full converter, Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha for the semi converter. Okay, RMS load voltage V naught RMS is equal to Vm by root 2. Okay, and its value is going to be V naught RMS is equal to Vm by root 2 into this value. Okay, form factor pi by 2 root 2 into cos alpha. Form factor is equal to V naught RMS by V naught. Okay, similarly ripple factor, all these are going to be, so whenever you come you see this, you will get a clear remembrance between these all the parameters provided for the converters. Okay, so majorly the problems are associated with these performance parameters in the case of a converter circuit. Okay, so here whenever you are going to consider this, you need to remember these waveforms in which you are going to in which you need to uh, find out the performance analysis for the converters. Okay, so uh, mm, this is related to your second unit, that is going to be related to your second unit, single phase converters. Okay, then whenever you are going to consider whenever you are going to consider for in the case of full wave three phase converters. So in the case of three phase converters, you need to know what is the conduction angle in the three phase, how you are going to get the conduction angle of three phase converters, and what is the operation for a half wave, three phase half wave converter and three phase full wave converter. Okay, so before moving that, you may consider the operation, you may consider the waveforms for a single phase. So let me clearly explain about how the conduction is going to be done and how the output voltages are going to be drawn. Okay, so simply if you are going to consider this provided with a AC voltage, provided with a AC voltage. In this case, always for a single phase converter, each device that from 0 instant to this particular instant, 180 degrees is going to be the maximum possible conduction. So that means whenever you are going to consider one thyristor, the thyristor is going to have a maximum conduction of 180 degrees. Okay, you may get a doubt that if you are going to consider for an RL load, you are going to get a negative conduction. If we are going to consider the firing angle of 30 degrees, from this 30 degrees to this 180 plus some angle, that is going to be coming, isn't it? But whenever you are going to consider this firing angle for a single phase circuit, always the thyristor is going to be having 180 degrees conduction. If the waveform starts at 30 for an RL load, it is going to be from 30 to 180 plus 30. What is that angle? 30 to 180. It is going to be 150. Again 150 plus 30, 180. Never the angle is going to be beyond 180. Never the angle is going to be beyond 180. Always the angle is going to be 180 degrees in the case of a single phase converters. Okay, suppose if you are going to increase the angle as 30, 45, 90, 75, sorry, 90, 120, 150, 180 like that. Okay, at 180 there is no conduction for that corresponding device. Okay, so always remember that always the firing angle should be provided for 0 to between 0 to 180 for positive conducting device. If it is going to be T1, it is T1 should be provided with a conduction from 0 to 180 degrees. If you are going to consider the operation for T2, for this T2 what you need to consider is the T2 is going to be provided with a triggering pulse from this 180 to 360. If T2 is provided with a triggering pulse before this, it will never make the device conduct, as the device is going to be in the reverse blocking mode. Here also, if T1 is provided with a triggering pulse after this 180 degrees, then it will never make the T1 conduct. Okay, so the desired instant for making the device conduct for positive operating device is going to be 0 to 180. In all these cases, 180 degrees is going to be the conduction. In all these cases, 180 degrees is going to be the conduction, maximum conduction provided. One thing to be remembered here is when you are going to get a maximum voltage, when you are going to get a maximum voltage. So whenever you are going to consider the operation, whenever the firing angle is going to be low, whenever the alpha value is going to be low, when the alpha value is going to be low, the conduction is going to be more. So that means conduction gamma is going to be high. When gamma is going to be high, you are going to have a maximum output voltage. Whenever the firing angle increases, conduction angle gamma reduces, so you are going to have a less output voltage. Okay, so then what we considered here in the case of in the earlier was for an RL load, what we are going to consider means we are going to consider the operation depending upon the firing angle. So this is going to be 0, this is going to be 180, and here you are going to have pi by 2 90 degrees. Whenever it is going to be considered, you are going to have the operation prevailing like this in the case of RL load, isn't it? So what is this case? In this case, V is positive, I is positive, and that means output current is positive, V is positive. This particular part of operation is going to be nothing but it is going to be rectification. Okay, so then coming to beyond this 90 degrees, if you are going to choose the firing angle as 120, 150 or something, then what you are going to get here, it is going to be nothing but V naught is going to be negative, I naught is going to be positive. So the power is going to be negative, means nothing but this is going to be the inversion operation. Okay, so the converters can be operated either as an inverter or as an rectifier. When it is going to be done means depending upon this alpha value. If alpha is chosen, if alpha is chosen to be from 0 to 90 degrees, you are going to get rectification operation. If it is going to be chosen beyond 90 degrees, it is going to get an inversion operation when the load is going to be simply RL. Okay, if it is simple RL load, if it is simple RL load, there is no inversion, nothing. The operation possible is going to be always simply rectification operation. So is it clear with this? Okay, so here whenever you are going to consider for an RL load, you are going to have inversion operation, rectification operation possible on the basis of this firing angle alpha. Okay, whenever you are going to consider for simple resistive load, there is no inversion operation possible. So this is related to the operation of a single phase converters. Okay, so is there anything doubt related to the waveforms Is anything doubt related to the waveforms? Okay, so my sincere advice is simply you make the paper, you take the paper and draw the waveforms for single phase half wave converter with R load side by side. Okay, so R load on the side of that, RL load on the side of that, RL load with freewheeling diode. You simply place the paper, as in the landscape mode. Okay, take the paper, make it into 3 parts. Okay, so you simply take the paper. Okay, and you what you need to do is simply you need to make the paper. Okay, and once you make the paper, take it take that paper and draw. One second. Okay, so what you are going to do means simply you, you make a paper, make it into 3 parts. Okay, on this first part you draw the waveforms for R load, you draw the waveforms for R load. In the second part you draw the waveforms for RL load, and the third part you draw the waveforms for RL load with freewheeling diode. Simply compare these 3 waveforms side by side, then you can remember easily how the waveforms are going to be what are the conducting instants and what are the conducting instants, and how the voltage and current waveforms are going to be differed. If you practice the waveforms like that, then you will get the you will be familiar and easy to remember. If this is not done, you may draw the waveforms in one page, and for R load, the other page for RL load, and the other page for, with freewheeling diode. Then you may not remember how the conductions, you may get confused related to the conduction instance. Okay, so the best practice for remembering the waveforms is going to be by comparison. Draw for R load, draw for RL load with freewheeling diode, RL load with freewheeling diode. In that case, you can clearly remember what is the resemblance of all the waveforms and voltages, how they are going to be, at which instant they are going to be differed. That is to be identified first. Okay, so that is going to be related to this second unit. Okay, then what we need to do means now you can ask the questions related to